Welcome everyone. More cube is on the menu. What are we looking at here? I'm looking at Archon of Cruelty versus Scalding Tarn and Preordain. Let's try and see if we can get Archon of Cruelty to work. It's a bit more contested these days than back in the day. I remember like Reanimator would be something a lot of people would not, prefer. Like they want to go like counter spells, play blue no matter what type thing, draft a lot of Signet, stuff like that. But yeah, I like this start. We start with Archon. We're passing Preordain, Tarn. Honestly, not that much is going to come back here. I guess if the Kozilek comes back, we can think a little bit more about like hasty Reanimator. But for now, Archon of Cruelty it is. Okay, what can we follow that up with? Immediately, you should try and check for like good reanimation cards or cards in the same color. Creature, decent, not too high on that card. I think I'm gonna go Force of Will. I think you can get a good blue-black deck with a broken element, but also good answers to either, prevent opposing brokenness or force through your own brokenness. That would be pretty awesome. I like the days as well for that exact same reason. So Archon into Force of Will. That's an interesting start, at least. Let's see what we have here. Grave Titan is another card that, it's going to be great if you're already Reanimator, because it's this fatty that's good to reanimate and reasonable to hardcast. But I'm going to draft Dismember in this spot. Dismember is just strong in any deck. And yeah, blue-black control with some kind of unfair aspect is no exception. Let's take that, pass on a Treasury, pass on Grave Titan. Deck Phaeton is also cool. Something you have to think about when you draft Force of Will is the blue count. So I would have to relatively quickly find out if I'm if blue is actually up for grabs, or I'm just picking up like terrible blue cards in order to support my blue-black strategy. In other words, we might abandon this Force of Will if the draft is not for it. Okay, but I don't think that's going to be yet. Now, this is actually a tough pick between Watergrave and Mystic Confluence. Mystic Confluence is so good, but improving your mana also so good. Yeah, I'm going to take Mystic Confluence here. Also because we might not be black. That is not a given. Like, let's say Reanimator is not open at all. All we have is like a Dismember, which we're going to play in any deck, so we draft Mystic Confluence over a good duel and a good fetch. Yeah, that card is just that good. Okay, I like this start. We have some potential with the Archon, and we have like clear direction with the other cards. Okay, still no reanimation cards, which is kind of sad, but I think Grim Monolith is reasonable. Like, even hardcasting Archon, if you have cards like Grim Monolith, it's not out of the question. Let's take that over Skydiver, I guess. I like Novice Inspector, good addition, just solid white 1-drop, even with some artifact synergies built in. Serta for infinite mana. We're probably not going to wield the Serta, though. Grim Monolith is a card that I used to love back in the day, where it was like, oh yeah, now I can cast my Consecrated Sphinx, my Wormcoil Engine, etc. But yeah, a lot of stuff has happened since then. Okay, interesting pack. So I could go one more Reanimation Fatty without ever seeing a way to put a Reanimation Fatty in the yard, or actually bringing it back. Or I could go Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. Being blue-black, we open ourselves up to draft Doomsday, and it's just a decent value planeswalker in itself. I'm actually going to take that card. This is a good example of, like, I have a Force of Will, so taking a average blue card is fine. But if you do that enough times, then the deck is just not there, right? Okay, this is a horrible pack for me. What am I even going to take here? Evolved Sleeper as an aggressive card? No, I think I'm going to take Coveted Jewel and speculate on Tinker. Also, I have Grim Monolith, so it's not out of the question to play that card, but not perfect. Also, it's kind of good with Jace. Jace being a combo-y nature. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me for some more Cube. One of my favorite things to do. Maybe the favorite thing to do. Don't tell my family that though. Terrible pack. Unless I'm actually flirting with the idea of playing some kind of Doomsday Storm Brain Freeze deck, then a card like Beseech or Reign of Filth can be, acceptable. I'm gonna take the Reign of Filth and put it in the sideboard for now. We did wield a Kozilek. Huh. Also wield Colonnade and Manatithe. Maybe this is a good time to go blue-white. Is this a good time to go blue-white? I'll actually try with the Colonnade. I feel like blue-white could be open here. Let's take... Creature is actually decent. Creature and Gideon are pretty similar. Okay. I regret it already. Okay, let's go Grave Titan here. Maybe the Gix is going to be okay. There's a Tendrils. Is that realistic? Mystic Confluence. I mean, is Gix realistic? I'm going to take the Tendrils because I'm really not 100% sure. And then here's some more cards that's going to make me doubt my life. I even passed the Yawgmoth's Will there. Yeah, the Storm Plan, I didn't... that wasn't too convincing. So let's see. What if we're actually playing white? We're cutting this whole column. We're cutting that card. And then we're trying to build blue-white. And then instantly we get a Reanimate. So maybe we're back, baby. Let's see. Yeah. This is just a Reanimate, isn't it? Let's take Reanimate here. Over, let's say I was trying to build the blue-white deck, maybe something like Tidebinder. It's not a premium card, so that's fine. Great cards here. Fury we can't take. Sunken Ruins we might wheel. This pick is between Remain and Troll. I feel like Troll Reanimate is just so good. And hopefully it's going to be fixing when it's all said and done. But I take Troll over Remand. Troll over Remand. Okay. I don't know about this. Did I give up? No, I don't think I gave up anything, like, crazy. The fact that I have 3 fatties is really, like, it's just a bad ratio, right? Because I don't want to get any more fatties. I want to get, like, reanimation and ways to put them in the yard. So it's kind of early that I have all 3 fatties. I could end up in a situation where I see, like, Atraxa Gristlebrand, and then, sure, there are going to be upgrades, but they're not going to be, like, unique for the deck. Very tough pick here. I think it's supposed to be Underground Sea, but Snapcaster and Recurring Nightmare are even worth talking about. There's also Raffine's Tower in the pack, but I think I should just take this Underground Sea, see if I can get my reanimation elsewhere. Underground Sea is going to help improve my consistency so much. I mean, especially if I'm trying to cast Jace, right? Okay, so status is we're still trying to make the reanimation happen. In theory, we could be just blue-black, normal deck, get rid of the big fatties, play like normal blue-black. I'll still play Reanimate in that deck. I might still play Grave Titan, but let's see. Ooh, there's a Bowmaster and a Minskin Boo, with 3 cards already have been taken from the pack. That's actually insane to think about. Bowmasters and Minskin Boo could be just the 2 best non-power cards. Let's take the Bowmasters and be extremely happy. It doesn't look like blue is open. So what do we take here? Baleful Strix or Imperial Seal? Strix is the most solid card. I could abandon the reanimation altogether. We'll take Baleful Strix. Here's a mana leak that I'm easily going to take over actually some good options. Urte and Cut Down would be very welcome in my deck, but yeah. Mana Leak is Mana Leak. Then we have Inti as Sentinel and Otari even as awesome cards left in the pack. These packs have been crazy good. Ooh, Reanimation or Vamp? Great choice to have. There's even a Frantic Surge. This is tough. I think it's supposed to be Vampiric Tutor. Now there's Fatal Push versus Malcolm. I'm actually going to take Malcolm here. Because it's like, it's blue for Force of Will, that's one thing, and it's a discard outlet that I don't really have. Yeah, I don't have any discard outlets. Hatebind or even Wield. Something weird's going on this draft. Will I get the fixing for Breach? I will at least try. Let's take through the Breach, put it in the sideboard. So right now, I'm not playing Ashen Rider because it's not castable. But I will play the two others, actually, because of Grim Monolith and the backdoor Reanimate plus Vampiric Tutor. Okay, this pack was good for me. I even got up to a reasonable blue count. Still need some more, but yeah, this is not hopeless. I have some good broken potential. I have some solid cards like just Dismember, Strix, Mana Leak, stuff like that, Mystic Confluence. That can just win, a normal game of Magic. A Wheeled Recurring Nightmare. Let's see. Malcolm, Strix, Bowmasters. Yeah, I have enough like cheap creatures. I'll definitely take that card. I took it over a blue-black land, but I think it's worth it. When you have some small creatures, now I just need like... Wheeling the Frantic Search I'm not going to ask for. That would be sick, but I'm not going to ask for it. I need a few more discard outlets like, I don't know, Jace Wrench Prodigy, maybe Liliana of the Veil, just some like solid cards. The Flesh Scourger I actually don't mind. I think that card is decent. Very good against aggressive decks. Yeah, this is looking cool. Bolas' Citadel, straight to the sideboard. Yeah, so what do we want here to round out this deck? Urtai. Free Urtai. I'm not going to complain about that. That's straight into the deck, like the solid plan. Massacre Girl. I don't like that card in the cube, but I mean, it can win some sideboarded games, but I don't think you're going to main deck it very often. I guess it took the place of Massacre Worm, which is also very much a sideboard card, I'll say, but I don't know. That card hits a little harder, but harder to cast. Tough to say. All right, last pack. Let's see if we can round this deck out in style. Not the best here. Will my deck support Cryptic Command? I think that's the big question. I mean, if I'm supporting Jace, I guess I'm supporting Cryptic Command. Otherwise, I could take Ketria Triumph to try and make Through the Breach live, but I don't think that's the way to go. Palantir is always solid. Maybe I just take Palantir, actually. Milling over Fatties. Pretty sick. All right, let's take Palantir. All the good cards in the pack, but very deck-specific. Is like Mother of Runes, Wheel of Fortune, but obviously some good lands. What do we see here? Voidwalker's cool, but it's kind of hard to cast, I imagine. Pentat Prism ramps me into some good stuff. This might be Pentat Prism, because Pentat Prism lets me cast my top end of the deck more easily. Okay. So it's like I have that and Monolith, makes my black fatties realistic to cast. Still need a way to put creatures into my yard. Have to look out for those kind of cards a bit more. Right now I only have Malcolm, Troll cycling, Yeah, there's a Gristlebrand. Gristlebrand is just so good. But if I don't find any more like discard outlets, the Gristlebrand is not even going to help me. Let's take the Gristlebrand and find some discard outlets. I wonder if Reanimator was open all along and we just didn't have like Animate Dead, Entomb, Necromancy in the draft. Speaking of Necromancy, there's a Necromancy. We have to take that card. It's here with a flash. Breach Oracle. Yep. Let's take Necromancy. Let's find a way to discard creatures. Yes, Creeping Tarpit will have to do for now. We don't have red mana for the Harvester. Don't have red mana for looting. Same thing. Blue Looter. Jace's Prodigy. Entomb. Mystical Tutor. And Shallow Grave. Shallow Grave is good with all of these guys, but can't put them in the graveyard. Let's take Mystical. Then I have Mystical and Vampiric Tutor. It's not perfect, like, but it is a way to get my Reanimate more often. That's the card I wanted. Like, Chart of Course is the card I couldn't name that exact card because I thought it was actually cut from the cube, but that is exactly what this deck wants. A way to bin a fatty, and from there I'll be fine. Like double tutor, reanimate, necromancy, recurring nightmare. From there I'll be just fine, but getting the creature in the yard, not easy here. I have some incidental milling with Palantir and Jace, but that was big. That was big. Great options here, to be honest. Let's see. I have a lot of creatures in this deck, so maybe this isn't a good toxic deck. What about Image? Image Bowmaster, Image Strix, Image Preacher. Yeah, let's go Image. Also helps the blue count out a little bit. Let's see how many cards I have. I have 12 left. Okay, so I need to cut like one card maybe. Maybe it's just the Jace, too hard on the mana, I guess. So right now I have a full deck. Let's see if we can find an upgrade or two before it's all said and done. Otherwise, I'm going to be... Yeah, this is like reasonable. Discard spell is not bad. There's a Doomsday. So if I have Doomsday Jace, but that's so mana intensive. Let's see, Doomsday. Then next turn, what do I do to... I can then chart a course. I need 1,000,000 blue mana. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe just Voidwalker for the sideboard. Can't play these cards either. Right? Yeah, I can't play those cards. There's Oracle. Spellseeker. This is not a good Spellseeker deck, is it? Maybe it is, because I can go get Chart, of course. Even getting the Shallow Grave. Okay, so we might have to think about how to build this deck after all those last picks. Okay, so let's quickly sort a little bit. 3 fatties, I think is a good number. Necromancy is a lock. Reanimate is a lock. Recurring Nightmare is a lock if we end up with a big enough creature suite, which I think we do. All of the creatures there are good. Discard spell is up for debate. The ramp cards I like. Gorger is up for debate. I think I like all of these cards here. So what if I end up submitting this? I end up with... Let's count. How many blue do we have already? 1, 2, 3. Don't play the Jace. Getting to 9 would be nice. Let's count black. 1, 2, 3. So let's see, if I go 15 lands with a troll with these cards, do I like the look of this deck? Let's check the blue count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's acceptable. I'm not super happy about it, but I think it's fine. I have a lot of creatures for Recurring Nightmare. I play Spellseeker because it's a creature for Recurring Nightmare. It goes and gets Reanimate or Charter Course, mainly. I think that's going to be fine. Then we have Discard Spell in the sideboard for like creature and artifact heavy decks. We have Direction Fleshgorger against aggro, Voidwalker against Graveyard Shenanigans, Massacre Girl against aggro as well. Like, we have a decent sideboard with this deck. We only play the fatties we can actually hardcast. Okay, I think I like this. I'm ready to submit this. This is going to be cool. It's been a while since I've played Dimir Reanimator, so yeah, let's see you guys for the matches. Thanks for watching so far. Round 1, fight. I'm on the draw here, playing Dimir Reanimator. This is a cool hand. I have turn 2 Troll, turn 3 Copy It. Can even hold up Mana League if the situation asks for it. This is an awesome hand. Being on the play would have been slightly better. That's oftentimes how it is in Magic the Gathering. Island is a decent draw. It ensures my 3rd land drop, and from there I think I'll be fine in the mana department. Depending on what happens, I can go turn 3 with Mana Leak backup instead. Ooh, Sculler. Yeah, let's Swamp Cycle in response. I'm gonna go for a normal Swamp because of Wasteland, and I don't have any triple blue in my deck. So now the opponent gets to see what's up. I'm actually thinking about going my own Sculler. Is that crazy? Copying it with Image, taking my opponent's best card? I assume they take Reanimate. The thing is, if I draw land number 4, I can consider waiting. Huh. The opponent took Necromancy. That means I can... Wow, yeah, that's a sicko draw. Okay. I think that means I'm supposed to go Reanimate the Troll. Maybe not. Maybe that means the opponent has interaction. Let's try and pass here. I think we can do some smart things here against the opponent. The Mana League is good. The Dismember is good. Now we could get into some eye-staring contest. The way the opponents played, I feel like they have Dismember, Path, Plow, and they want me to lose the life from the Reanimate. Bitter Reunion. That card is not a problem unless my opponent is missing land drop. So they play this very well, doing this before land drop. Bitter Reunion. I'll bite here. The opponent played well here, making me guess, showing the least amount of information as possible. Like, just imagine I get land, Reanimate the Troll, or something along those lines. Like, that would be a disaster. So now what I can do is make 2 Trolls, which I think I should do. Reanimate the Troll. Image the Troll. And see what happens. Land comes back. The opponent's at 4 mana here. I still have my Necromancy under the Sculler that I have access to if I pay some more life with this member. Elective Brutality on that card. Kills it just by the virtue of targeting it. When it discards a swamp, can take my Dismember out of hand as well. Pretty cool sequence. Let's see if they can also deal with the original troll. I bet. Yeah, I think they can, right? Bone Shards. Okay, so my opponent discards 4 cards to get rid of those two. Chart a course. Pretty awesome stuff here. I'll just discard the Prism. I think that's fine. And now I can kind of trap my opponent on the attack step with Bowmasters. Ping for 1, block with the token. Then I get back the Necromancia and I can get back the Troll. That's my hope anyway. Animate Dead on the Troll. Yeah, now I have to drag up my deck list here and see what I have for that card. What can I have Empiric Tutor for? That's going to help me. Empiric Tutor, something like Urtai, I guess. Okay, so the opponent really grinded me out here. Or at least did everything they could. I feel like I'm going to take damage here and then go for the Urtai. Go to 8, go to 6. Brutal stuff. Empiric Tutor. Let's just make sure I'm not missing anything. Gonna go Urtai. Then I'm gonna pass. Then I'm just gonna see if the opponent is willing to attack with both. I mean, it's gonna be pretty hard for them to guess that I have Urtai. I'm very impressed by the opponent's play there. Very, very impressed. Because that's like the only card, more or less. And it was lethal if I didn't. But I guess I've Empiric Tutored, so they know the troll is not going to happen. But yeah, that's amazing play by the opponent. Liliana of the Veil. Very annoying. Sacrifice that. Oh. The thing is, if I... Let me try and analyze this. If I keep the land and pass, my opponent's going to start the turn by plussing Liliana. I discard the island. Then the opponent's going to attack. I'm going to ping it for 1 with Bowmasters. Then I'm going to block it with the Orc. Then I'm going to get back my Necromancy. Then I'm going to reanimate the Troll. If my opponent then edicts me, I lose the original Bowmasters, which is fine. So I like that scenario. What's the other scenario? The other scenario is I go... shoot the Liliana. Have the 2 the 2 guys in play. Yeah, I think it's better to pass and hope here. But the reality of the situation is I can't beat much. How did I go? Like, my opponent made... Oh, Brutality. I guess that was a 2 for 2. And then Bone Shards, -1. Yeah. I have Empiric Tutor at this and that, so... So now I can even get rid of the Liliana if I want to. Double block. I'll try. This is kind of risky. I can't beat a removal spell. I think it's fine. I get back Necromancy. And now Have to beat the rest of my opponent's hand, which is plains nothing? Okay. Shallow Grave on Bowmaster's pretty bad. Let's play Necromancy. Troll. Pass. So now I have a troll against nothing. Council's Judgment. Let's see. Oh, okay. The opponent chooses Necromancy, which is interesting. Because that makes the troll go back to the yard, so in some scenario, I can get it back now. Swamp is a terrible draw. I don't think hitting for 6 makes any sense. I can use the Shallow Grave as a counter for opposing Reanimation, if it comes to that. So this turned into a Grindfest. I have good cards like Grave Titan and stuff in the deck. Upkeep. Upkeep, stop. For a Monolith. Okay. I mean, I'll play it because if I draw exactly Archon, I can play it. So Archon, Grave Titan. I have some good ones. Swamp is not one of them. I'm gonna build my swamp count here because of Gristlebrand in the deck, but it's just so niche. Let's say my top cards are now Swamp Gristlebrand. 7 mana. Yeah, the opponent found the Archon before me. And now it's time to draw my own Archon. Nope. Alright. That was actually a great game. Like, the opponent with perfect info. Can't remember from what, though. Sculler. And then just very back and forth. I'm trying to find my best spot. I make 2 trolls, but the opponent can counter it. Oof. I think I like Voidwalker. Not big on Shallow Grave here. Maybe that shouldn't even have been in the deck to begin with. The opponent is kind of some kind of hybrid between fair and unfair. I need to cut 1 card here. I feel like I like a card like Preacher because it's just gonna do good work on its own. Maybe I cut Inset Prism. Sure, my deck can function without it. Okay, sick game. I love those games. This is a keep. The potential of this hand is kind of cool. This Spellseeker can go and get most likely something like Chart a Course after a few turns, and I've drawn a fatty. So I really want to hang on to that card. And then if that happens, then in combination with Recurring Nightmare, it can be quite sick. There's a Palantir. So now I just have a game plan, right? I can play turn 3 Palantir, and I have a Force of Will. The turn after that, I have Urtai, in case I hit my land drops. Bat. Yeah, it's not really the ideal card to counter, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna kind of move away from the Spellseeker plan because I have the Palantir. So I want to resolve that, dodge a bullet, and then sit on the Urtai, dodge a bullet on the following turn. And maybe we can even mill over some fatties here. That's kind of cool. There's a Reanimate. So the thing about this is I can kind of ensure to get the Reanimate next turn, but it's not even that good, right? So let's just get rid of both. I expect to get milled the first time. Okay, I got to draw the card. Okay, so I draw Troll. Hmm. Opponent wanted me to draw an extra card instead of milling over one random card. Liliana of the Veil. Okay. Each player discards a card. I'm going to discard the Troll. Huh. I guess my opponent's doing this, yeah, exactly, to enable some brokenness. And I just put away the Reanimate, so I'm not exactly looking like a genius here, but let's see. We don't want those. And then the opponent lets me draw, and I draw Archon. Hmm. Yeah, the thing about the Reanimate is, if I keep that, yeah, I don't know. Then I would have to, if my opponent made me draw, I should have drawn a Swamp as well. We both have Archon here. I'm ready to counter Reanimation. So I think let me check here. Yeah, I'm kind of scared here. Maybe I shouldn't be. If my opponent has removal, then I play the Urtai, then I play Recurring Nightmare, and I get like removed. I'm gonna try. I think it's worth going for it here. Urtai. Maybe I don't even do that. Let's see. Okay. I'm gambling my opponent does not have a removal spell. Yeah, unfortunately that image is not gonna do anything, I feel like. Hmm. Ugh. If the Recurring Nightmare works, I'm pretty sure I'm winning the game. I'll try. So hard. So I'll try and reanimate Archon. The opponent has something here. Mm-hmm. Instant speed, necromancy, countering my... Yeah, I mean, good play, good play. So... Huh. Let's see. If I discard the Nightmare, I can go land image, copy Archon. My opponent's going to sacrifice that Archon. Then my Archon is going to get edicted. So I don't want that. I think I'm supposed to discard Island, maybe? Or image. Island or image? Also funny, the opponent passed a turn. They could have reanimated Archon, but they waited. Which was like a genius move. Let's get back to this decision. I feel like my hand is just going to get, like, crumbled. Is it possible for me to have Nightmare and a creature, like, later? What if I discard image? Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to discard image. I'm really not sure. When I draws a card, do I play this land? Maybe I don't. Okay, I'll pass. Then I'll Palantir. Oh boy. I feel like my opponent's just going to let me draw. I don't think drawing Gristlebrand is going to be super helpful. So let's mill for some creatures. And the opponent's well, my Archon is gonna die. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. It's interesting. The opponent lets me draw. But I guess now it makes sense, right? They don't want to take 1,000,000 damage. They get rid of a plains. They can now tick up Liliana. I'll discard basic island. They don't tick up Liliana. I don't even know what's going on here. Yeah, maybe that's terrible. I think I should have pretty easily played Recurring Nightmare. But I guess I didn't. I like the Tidebinder because it can do some good things. I kind of hope I get to do something here. Huh. Yeah, I'll try again. And step the Tidebinder with the goal to Recurring Nightmare. Recurring Nightmare. Pathing in response. Great play. I'll play. I guess my opponent just really liked their hand. Yeah, I'll draw the Preacher. It's like I keep asking the same question, basically. Now I did expose the Recurring Nightmare. Let's say my opponent has some kind of disenchant effect. The opponent keeps passing here without activating Liliana. I'm super confused. That was a beautiful draw. Mystic Confluence, everybody. So now Archon, kill Liliana. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened this game. Balance. Huh. Yeah, I'm really not sure what happened this game. I feel like the opponent was supposed to do something else. Let's get this Reanimate into hand. Now it just looks like it's over for the opponent. Kill that card. Opponent has one card in hand. I can animate another one. I feel like that's fine. Yes, sir. Currency converter. My opponent's last card. I draw Gristlebrain, which is kind of funny. So let's reanimate the opponent. I don't know. Gristlebrand? Archon? Go for the Archon. Draw. So funnily enough, let's see what this does. You choose an artifact creature, then an artifact creature from the yard. So I can get rid of Gristlebrand here, I believe. Let's see if that works. No cards in hand. Put Gristlebrand in the yard. And play out Recurring Nightmare. That's kind of free. Pass. Okay, so pretty insane game here. The cat and mouse of us both playing, Reanimate and Necromancy that can target each other's graveyard is pretty interesting. The opponent had infinite removal here with between Path, Winds, and Balance. That's why they didn't want to, go for it. Huh. Can I hedge in any way that's, like, meaningful? I think trying to base my game plan around something like Voidwalker, Bowmaster, Strix, like basically the fish, like aggro control part of the deck. think that's a good strategy, but all I have out here is the Flesh Scourger. Like, and all of these cards are just better at doing that plan, right? It's just so dangerous to put a big creature into the graveyard if you're not reanimating it right away. Yeah, I can't get away from this hand. I have turn 2 Voidwalker against a Pseudo Mirror. So can't get away from this. And then whenever I find something good, I can pair the tutor with that. So yeah. Let's not draw any more lands. This deck is really not equipped to, blood. I'm trying to think here. Am I supposed to Vampiric Tutor for a turn 3 standalone threat? And what would that be? Is that like Palantir? I mean, I don't hate that. Palantir, the best standalone card out of this deck, it probably is. Even though there is some fail rate with the opponent just milling me. Let's see, what does this do? 2 for Death Touch. When it attacks the player with the most life. So that would be the opponent in the beginning. No, I guess not, because I vamped. This card is also going to draw cards, but it just dies to a removal spell. Okay, I'll try going for the Palantir. It's not like ideal use of Vampiric Tutor, but it's kind of clutch, right? The funny thing is, I have my opponent's yard locked down if this survives. But Palantir, my opponent can just get lucky and mill over some of my fatties and reanimate from there. Okay, there's a path to exile. My opponent didn't want to get countered. Ooh, okay. Let's go Dreams. No targets. Animate Dead, Exhume Balance. Animate Dead, Exhume Balance. Okay. So this is going to be a grind. Animate Dead, Exhume Balance. I feel like forcing the opponent to take 5 here or giving me the card is fine, right? Then I'm just gonna... This is gonna be a draw one before you know it, right? Plains is out of the picture. Okay. So the opponent can balance away that card and animate it. How sad am I about that? Balance and animate it. Let's take a look at our list. We're trying to find something like Force, Urtai, Spellseeker, Mana Leak before that. Yeah, let's draw some more cards and see what's going on. Tightbinder. Kind of the same. I'm gonna play that card. Gonna get... Maybe it's fine. If that card gets like balanced and animated, I think I'm fine. Okay, the opponent took the damage. They're down to 9 here. They can't do that forever. The plan is kind of working. I guess their plan is to try and mill over a fatty before dying, but now being at high life total, gonna be pretty difficult. Draw 2, discard 1. I can easily discard land there. And I have Urtai up, which is a hard counter for annoying stuff. Bowmasters is pretty awesome because it's just annoying chip damage, to be honest. But it's also making the balance, but I think it's fine. Making the balance more viable. Let's do that. Archon. Yeah, the thing about Archon is the opponent has Animate Dead, so I don't want that to hit the yard. Get in for 2. Let's see. I can now could have imaged. Got in for 1 more damage. Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, I should have done that. Let's see. I'll play image, copy. Should have done that before combat, so my opponent would have been at 4. I mean, they have to give me the card, so we can get rid of Gristlebrand, keep Reanimate. I think it's going to be very tough for the opponent to get out of this. So let's see. Balance right now does... It kills my board. Is that dangerous? Then the opponent's maybe gonna, like, reanimate Bowmasters with Animate Dead. Is that good? Then what can I do? I can kind of see if I can slam the door here and not, give my opponent any chance to win. My opponent's hand is Exhume, Animate Dead, 1 unknown. I have 6 mana in play, so I can't hardcast Archon next turn no matter what I draw. Let's counter this and deal my opponent 2 damage and grow the Org army. Counter target spell. Opponent draws a card. They get domed twice by Bowmaster. They're down to 3. And that's going to do it. Okay, that was a sick game. So even though the Dreams of Steel and Oil whiffed, it was just so good to know about, like, balance and Animate Dead, Exhume, so I can kind of sculpt my game plan around it. I really like the turn 1 tutoring for Palantir. Sometimes, even though you have, like, a broken deck, sometimes just going a bit off track and playing solid can win some games here and there. And yeah, I feel like that was a pretty heads-up decision. All right, that was the first match. That was kind of a grind, actually. But yeah, we're winning, so no complaints. See you in the next one. Round 2, here we go. Yes, I would in fact like to play first. Thank you for asking. It's always nice with a very well-behaved client. Okay, so what can this hand do? Not much right now. I'm basically keeping it off the back of the potential of Malcolm digging for a fatty and then Necromancy. Spellseeker is most likely going to be my blue pitch for Force Will if something broken happens. Taiga Mux Jet. Island is not the best draw. I'm gonna play Island out here instead of Swamp because I want to represent Mana Drain specifically, but also Counterspell in some kind of perfect scenario where my opponent does not do anything out of respect for me keeping up that mana. And then I play a Flash Threat, and then maybe I bought myself like a Time Walk. It's not the most, realistic thing, but could happen, and it's kind of free. Draw, discard. Pretty easy Island here. Drew Tar Pit, which is a better card to play out, I feel like. Yeah, Malcolm is just something that has to be killed eventually, I feel like. In most games. The opponent wants to kill my Malcolm. Yeah, I think I have to let that happen. I have some good draws that can kind of punish that. Basic Swamp is definitely not one of them. So what if I Necromancy the Malcolm and kind of keep going? I didn't exactly hope for this when I got up this morning, but maybe this is like just super irresponsible. Okay, I guess the opponent took the decision for me. Maybe I'm supposed to say, okay, you're playing big, Naya, whatever. I'll force it with a big creature at some point, and then I'll Necromancy that card. Maybe I was supposed to do that. Troll. Okay, that's way better. So let's troll. Then I'll animate the troll and try and protect it and attack with it 3 times. Also, maybe just 2 times alongside a couple of tar pit hits. That would be awesome. I'm not really sure what the opponent's playing here. I expect something huge to hit the stack very soon. Tribal Flames Reprieve. Bunch of duels. Is this Time Spiral? Fractured Identity. Let's not allow that. We like our troll. Mana Leak. It's not a Mana Leak. Get in for 9. That's all we can do. Like, we only have mana sources left. We can only try and, like, close out our opponent before they overpower us with a better land spell ratio. Land number 7. So a lot of big cards big creatures rather, don't save my opponent here. Because of actual unblockable on Tar Pit and pseudo unblockable on Troll. Let's see what my opponent Narsets into. With only Naya mana. They kind of need some, maybe like some removal spell for Tar Pit. If they don't find a removal on Narset, that card gets revealed. And they kind of pass the turn. I'm just going to attack my opponent with both creatures and check if I've won the game. I don't want to, like, second guess myself. I think I'm in such a bad spot that going for the throat is better. Echo of Eons. So Blindside or Black Lotus could enable that. Garrick making a 3/3. So now my opponent needs Solitude on white card. It's pretty insane that the math checked out exactly this game. That's kind of cool. Animate Tar Pit, attack for 9. Yeah, that was brutal. I had, yeah, even it was a blessing in disguise. My Necromancy got reprieved, and then I drew a better target. That's kind of funny. Okay, so big green with some draw 7 action. What can we do against that deck? Maybe I want more access to Force of Will. Maybe Prism isn't all that. Prism for Mystical? Yeah, I'll try. This can take creatures and artifacts. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can repeat that. Like, Tar Pit and Troll, that's just the squad there, the double team. Okay, so this has turn 3. No, it doesn't have turn 3 with the Mana Leak backup. Let's see. Turn 1 tap land. Turn 2. Yeah, it does. Okay. So turn 2, I go Swamp Cycle, then Tutor for Reanimate out of Tar Pit and Island. Play my 3rd land out, Reanimate, then I have Mana Leak. Yeah, that's a decent plan here. Headquarters is acceptable. Island, pass. Mana Leak if something broken happens. If something broken does not happen, I have my plan. What are you going to do with 4 mana on turn 3, opponent? You're going to play Minsk and Boo. I don't like that. So now I can make a troll. If I go... Yeah, I should probably do that. I think trying to kill my opponent is the way to play. So what's the alternative? The alternative is killing my opponent slower, but being more disruptive. But I don't think that's how you play. I'll Vampiric Tutor for Reanimate. Swamp Cycle off the island. Draw. Troll. Pass. And then my opponent needs something good right now. Otherwise, I untap with Urtai. The opponent did show Fractured Identity last game, which is the nightmare in this situation. There's mana source number 5. Sylvan Safekeeper. Huh. Is this natural order? No, it's not natural order. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. That's probably okay. Opponent discarding some terrible cards. I'm drawing into some very mediocre cards. No Force of Will, no Mystical Tutor, and all of that stuff. Okay, I'm probably not in good shape anymore. Halfling, fine. Yeah. Not good, not good. So what I can do here is I can... Wait, no, I don't think I killed that halfling. Maybe I should have, actually, because if my opponent plays something better, they can just make it survive. Caracas is good against Malcolm. That can make me look silly. Sylvan Safekeeper. It's very rare I've seen that card be any good in Vintage Cube. I don't think I've ever played it. Let's see what the legend is about to do here. Any uncastable... not uncastable. Any uncounterable legends? Titania. That's sick. It's very, very strong. I highly doubt I can beat that card. Titania brings back Scalding Tarn. So Safekeeper is a combo with with Titania, to say the least. Yeah, that's just gonna do it. Okay. Let's see if we can tempo that deck out. Maybe the Dream is okay. Hmm. Still have Shallow Grave in here. I don't even know if it's good. I don't think it is. Hmm. Okay. I'll try it. Ah. So Sylvan Safekeeper with Titania. It's funny, I never even thought about that. So maybe that's a flaw in my plan. Hmm. This can disrupt turn 1, spin Grave Titan, and look for Reanimation turn 2. Just very decent. Hmm. So funnily enough, I take the Mox. Does that even do anything? Yeah, it looks like my opponent has this very slow hand here. But they do have a balance, so even, reanimating a Grave Titan wouldn't be that sick. Field of the Dead, the draw. Okay. Draw 2, discard 1. Pretty easy Grave Titan. The opponent has a balance. I have a Recurring Nightmare. Tidebinder. Tidebinder, you say? So maybe my plan is supposed to be just get in there with Tidebinder? If I draw my 4th land, I'm really doing it, I feel like. Maybe not. This could be a long one. Tidebinder, nothing. Land number 4. That is a land number 4. Let's see. Does it make any sense to force out the balance right now? Play Recurring Nightmare. Get Grave Titan into play. Get balanced. I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to pass here. There's a plane. The opponent now has 4 mana. Removal for Tidebinder if they want to. Palantir is a decent one, but I'm not sure it makes any sense to play it and then just get it leylined right away. Hmm. What happens if I counter this? The opponent has Minsk and Boo, 2 colors off from casting it. Echo of Eons, 2 lands off from casting it. Balance in hand. What happens if I go force out the balance here? Then I get sent the turn. Tough game, tough game. And do I counter the spell or their trigger? I'll counter the trigger. Such a tough game. Such a tough game. So now the theory is, at least, I'm forcing out the balance, but I don't even know if that's a good or bad thing, to be honest. Went with the 5th land in play, which is at least makes it okay. I guess my opponent's going for some draw 7 action. I guess this was like the danger all along, that something bad with the draw 7 could happen. Oh. This is sick. I didn't think about this. Balance? Crack LED in response? No? Oh, I guess it's the same. Okay. Hmm. Well, I was pretty lucky there. My opponent couldn't Narset. Okay. So we now have 7 fresh ones from a somewhat even point in the game. So let's see. Spellseeker. Tapland is annoying. I have Mana Leak. Good interaction. I can play it a little bit on instant speed with the Confluence in a few turns. Let's see. Cycle. Okay, that's not dangerous. Okay, so we both have a full grip. I have to remember the Urtai is, while it's decent interaction, it can be bounced by Caracas, so that it's not going to do any chip damage unless my opponent actually wants me to do chip damage. Fifth land. Yeah, the thing about that card is it's probably gonna beat me with just Feel of the Dead. Do I Mana Leak it or Urtai it? I feel like Urtai it because of mana usage. Counter. At least if my opponent wants to bounce my Urtai, at least I then have a hard counter. Opponent has 5 different lands in play. Opponent took the damage. No Caracas shenanigans. How am I progressing this game if I don't play anything out? What I can do is I can Spellseeker for Mystical Tutor. Before my turn, I can Mystical Tutor for Force of Will, and that's like my way to win this game, so to speak. The alternative is play this card out. Whenever creature of the Schism attacks while you have the most life, you draw a card and lose 1 life. That could be a way to overpower my opponent. Then lean on Mana Leak this turn, Mystic Confluence the following turn. Okay, I'll try the Preacher. I'm really not sure. This game is another extremely tough one. I could have gone Seeker Mystical. Then have Force of Will for next turn. So right now I'm basically trying to lean on Mana Leak being the counter for the turn. Let's see. That's 5 mana. Bring to Light. So the bad news is my opponent can pay for it with LED. The good news is that would cost them the whole hand. So let's see. Okay, they're willing to bin their whole hand to pay. Let's see what they go for. Yeah, that works. Super scared here. I'm not sure I can beat the big walker like Tybalt, the other side of Tybalt. No, Tybalt. It is Tybalt. I was thinking about Valky. That's the front page of that card. Oh boy, what a game. This will make the... Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Tapped out Wheel of Fortune. I mean, I think that's decent for me. I did have a decent hand, though. Okay. So now I'm definitely going to Mystical Tutor for... Or maybe that's just bad. Let's see. No, I feel like going for Force of Will here is good. Mystical Tutor. Put Force of Will in hand. Reanimate was a consideration. I guess I should have checked my opponent's graveyard more carefully. Draw Force of Will. Cast Dreams. They have the combo here, which is funny. I'm not sure I care about Sylvan Safekeeper without Titania. So let's take Titania and, I guess, LED out of the yard. I guess I just get in for the most damage here. Let's Reanimate. I think my opponent has to bounce Urtai now. Draw a card from Breacher, I believe. Urtai's back in the hand. Opponent takes 5. Draw Brave Titan. Not super exciting right now, to be honest. Play land. Pass the turn. Opponent's at 6. And I have a Force of Will. Can't quite kill my opponent next turn. I can flash in the Malcolm. But I don't think that's worth... Maybe it is. It's kind of locking up a mana of my opponent, so maybe it's worth it. But if my opponent plays something like I have to counter, I'll pitch to Malcolm, because then I have another hard counter in Urtai still left. So let's quickly check in on our opponent's hand. My opponent has... Okay, they get token now. I forgot about that. Okay, so it's 2 hits with Tar Pit. That's enough to win this game. Two hits with Tar Pit is enough. I think that should be my target here. Let's see, Garruk. What if I counter the Garruk, and then next turn counter whatever else my opponent has, while attacking with the Tar Pit twice? Maybe that's the way to go. What is Garruk gonna do here, realistically? Make my opponent have a lot of mana? Yeah, let's try and counter that. And I'm gonna use Troll to go get Underground Sea so that I have 4 mana for Urtai. And activating Tar Pit. Shuffle, or search rather. Go for Underground Sea. Reanimate. Does that do anything? No hasty guys in the opponent's yard. Okay, okay. I mean... the opponent knows about my hard counter. Draw another card. Opponent has to block, I guess. Opponent goes to 3. I think I just passed with my hard counter up here. No Archon in the yard. What a grindy game. And now the Tar Pit is threatening as ever. I don't care about a lot of cards that my opponent can have here. Shock down to 1. That means if I find Bowmasters, it's lethal. Time Spiral with 2 mana up. I would rather not. I'll try an Urtai. Is this Reprieve? Sick. Okay. So my opponent reprieves the Urtai back to my hand. And we play on. Sick. The opponent can now untap 6 lands, and yeah, the opponent hits me with the GGs. Let's see if that's a bad manner GGs or a good manner GGs. It was a good game regardless. Like, if the opponent untaps 6 lands here and destroys me, awesome game. If I get the turn here and win, awesome game. It doesn't matter too much to me here. I feel like, whoa, this game was... I grew a few years older during this game. I think I had a pretty good idea of how to beat that deck and try and, like, bottleneck it out. But it's tough to say. Very tough to say. All right, the opponent is back, ready to play. I still don't know what the GG means, but we could be dead here. Garrick hits the field. In order for Garrick to be worth it, wonder what that has to do with. The opponent's at 1. Narset. Yeah, my opponent had to play out the Narset using the mana filtering of Garrick. That's not really ideal. I wonder what the opponent could have done here. Probably something with, like, Zuran Orb or something. Too late. I guess we'll never know what the way out was. Activating Narset, that's fine. Tribal Flames, put into hand. Sylvan Safekeeper. I'll animate the Tar Pit. This will haunt me forever. That's you shouldn't put that much stock into a game of Magic. It's not healthy. I'll attack my opponent with a 3/2 unblockable. And that's going to do it. Okay. That puts us at 2-0. That means next up we have a finals. Those are always fun to play. So, yeah, don't go anywhere. Thanks for watching so far. Okay, this is the finals. We're playing blue-black. I guess we can call it Reanimator. We're on the play with this hand, and it's not looking super pretty. However, I think the Preacher is decent enough standalone card that this hand is keepable. I can put a Troll in my yard, which makes my Reanimation cards live. And who knows about that Archon later on. Definitely not a top hand to be keeping, but I think it's alright. I'll lead on the Underground Sea because I wouldn't actually mind getting Wastelanded. Or a Tribe Scout. That's not one of my favorite cards either. I'm always excited to see like what kind of use my opponents can put those cards to, because it's definitely a hole in my range, that's for sure. Okay, so Baleful Strix, can't complain about that draw. We're actually throwing reasonable cards together here. But it looks like playing small ball against the deck where Sakura Tribe Scout is good. It's not the way to go. Like, that deck is probably looking to go big at some point. Here comes another land. So it's like build your own exploration. Okay. That's probably... It kind of has to do with like the big spell that's at the end of this rainbow. If you just like play out your lands, not gonna do a whole lot. There's Image. Do I want to go? No, I don't think so. I was about to ask, do I want to go like Image, Dryad, play out some more lands, and I have Mystic Confluence up a turn before, but I think this is better. I'm still very interested in reducing my opponent's life total to 0. Kind of a combination between disrupting my opponent and making sure I kill them in a reasonable time window. Ideally, I win the game before my opponent gets to Sheldog Isle, but let's see. Ooh, Jite. That's sick. I'm pretty happy I have a 2/4 Death Toucher on defense. Okay, so the opponent's willing to suicide attack the Tribe Scout. There's 2 counters on Jite. Huh. Okay. So I attack. Tough call. Let's attack with Strix, I guess. Pass. So as long as the opponent has that Jite, my Image is going to be very, very bad because the opponent can just kill it by targeting it once. Everflowing Chalice. Accept that card. Pilgrim, I accept that as well. Then the question becomes, how do you play Magic here, opponent? Okay, they play Magic by keeping the Dryad around. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's see. Vampiric Tutor. So let's see. I land. First things first, how do we beat that Jite? The opponent attacks. I block with this. The opponent can remove 3 Jite counters to finish off the Preacher. Then there's 1 left to kill the Strix. Okay. think I just pass here, see if I can do any good things with Mystic Confluence. Vampiric Tutor. I have Grim Monolith in the deck, which is an accelerant for hardcasting Archon. Could be good. What happens if I just block there? The opponent's going to let it happen, then have 4 counters on GT. I think maybe that's what's going to happen. Four counters on GT. Opponent has a ton of mana. Uh-oh. 6, 7 mana. Counter target spell, draw 2 cards. Stub on upkeep in case I need to Vampiric Tutor. Still 4 counters on GT. Swamp. Terrible draws. Unfortunately. Maybe I just take the draw because I might draw what I need, right? So now I bet the 4 GT counters will... maybe not. Maybe my opponent's going to let me draw a card here. I'm quite close to... Let's see. My opponent's going to let me do this. Oh, let's see. What can I do? I can go for, like, Necromancy Mirror Battlesphere. I can go for something like Tidebinder. Counter the GT once my opponent tries to equip. I can go for Dismember. Is Dismember good? Let's cast Vampiric Tutor in response. No, wait a minute. Am I messing up here? No, I think I did it right. Okay, let's see. How about Force of Will? I like Force of Will. Let's draw into that force. I have Hardcast Force up. Getting in for damage. Already played a land. Then I have Hardcast Archon in a couple of turns from now. Did I mess up? I don't know. It seems unreasonable my opponent would go, like, all in on some Dryad shenanigans. I get to 6 counters on GT, which is a lot. I have 23 cards in deck. Opponent plays Cobra. I think we can beat that. Well. So if I attack, I get a 1/1. I don't know. Maybe I messed up this game. That's annoying. Because now my opponent even has a spare creature. Infinite counters on the GT that might handle the Archon. Hmm. Magic is a hard game, for me at least. The opponent's contemplating here, is it worth firing off 4 GT counters to prevent the Preacher from giving me value? Great question. They're going to let me do it, it seems. No, they're not. Okay. Okay, so right now my opponent's spending a lot of GTA counters on killing the Preacher. That means the Archon is more likely to get there, so I guess I take that. I've already played my land. My plan next turn is to go Archon. I have to think about that. Playing Archon next turn makes it so that I have 20 cards in library, and that means the opponent's Shelldog Isle is alive, and then bad things can happen. Or a Tri-Builder. Fine. Then I'm going to go Archon. Oof. Archon of Cruelty. The opponent sacrifices a bad creature. The problem is the GT goes to 6 counters after the next attack. I need to draw something relevant here. Okay, the opponent discards Kozilek, which reshuffles. I have now 20 cards in the deck. Dismember might not do anything. The opponent can now Shelldog before, but they didn't. Huh. Maybe there's just a terrible card on the Shelldog Isle. That's like my only hope at this point. Let's see here. How much damage does the opponent have here? They actually have 14 damage, I believe. And no, they have 12. Okay. So maybe if I block the Cobra. No, that's not going to work. So let's see. I'm going to take the damage here down to 10. Yeah, let's go. Take the damage down to 10. Force all of my opponent's GT counters to deal with Archon. Then I set myself up to draw something like Recurring Nightmare, Necromancy, stuff like that. Reanimation. Malcolm. Malcolm does not a whole lot. It does dig for animation next turn. So let's see. How desperate am I here? I have 9 mana. That's enough for... No, I think I have to play this. Like, Dismember, so my opponent doesn't get counters. Flash in Malcolm, still with the ability to cast Force of Will. Ugh. Brutal games. I got into the longest draw go situation in the universe, in the history of the universe. I couldn't quite get there. Smuggler's Copter is a good one. Let's Force of Will that card. So now the problem is, my opponent has all the mana in the world. Probably have, like, Haymakers as well. So now I have to think. If I go Dismember the Dryad, Malcolm block the Cobra. My opponent doesn't have any creatures that can like have a GT on. Just remember, my hand is just so bad. Maybe it's better for me to cycle. Do I buy more time by cycling? Probably do. If I go to 6, then play this. Okay, I'll try and take the damage here. Ah, it's so close. Pass the turn. Or equip and pass the turn, I guess. Okay, the opponent passed the turn. Let's hope it's not a counter spell. Play Malcolm. Draw Recurring Nightmare like a champ. Oh boy. Okay. So, attack, might as well. Plan to discard Island. Then Recurring Nightmare into Archon. Then play Image Copy Archon. Holy crap. The flash card I'm thinking about now is Endurance. But the thing is, Endurance will get rid of my yard anyway, so I think it's just good to attack first. Draw. Discard Island. Second main phase. Recurring Nightmare. Archon. Get rid of my opponent's hand. That was a Metamorph. Wow. Yeah, I'm the champ here. Yeah, this is just over in many, many ways. So what can I do here? I can... let's see. It's probably nice to just go... Image the Archon. Hold up Bowmaster, I guess. Wow, what a game. Oof. I threaded the needle there like a freaking champ. So let's see. We're playing against like green mid-range. Do we have any stuff? Yeah, let's go for Massacre Girl over the Prism. I feel like I've been boarding out the Prism every time. Okay, let's see. Ooh, the GT did a lot of work that game. I got pretty lucky to get out from under the GT. So let's see. I'm one land off from getting Malcolm into play, binning the Gristlebrain, and then reanimating it. I'm actually going to keep this because I have Force Pitch for like broken stuff. Yeah, I think this is fine. If I hit the land within the first couple of turns, I'm in great shape. If I don't, then that's where it starts to go downhill. The thing is, I already have the island, so even drawing another island is okay, because that lets me dig with Malcolm. Okay. Phantasmal Image, not a land. Yeah, Oko is too much. I'm gonna pitch the 3-drop. I didn't dream of that I had to Force Will this early. There's the plains. There's the plains! So that means... Let's see. That means if I have another land in the top 2, I present a Gristlebrand next turn. Yeah, it's basically why I kept the hand. So let's see if the opponent can keep going here. Looks like they can't. Malcolm, draw, land, and I try and Gristlebrand, see if that works. Malcolm connects, Malcolm bins, Gristlebrand. Recurring Nightmare. Gristlebrand has entered the chat. I think I'm supposed to draw here. Oh my god, I just thought about like Hull Breacher, but I can't play around Hull Breacher. That is 7 incredibly bad cards. Let's discard a ton of those. Tar Pit. Is there any way Tar Pit is going to do anything? I don't think so. Get rid of those. Now it's the opponent's turn. They did show Metamorph last game, which is scary in a situation like this. Yeah, that looks like a Metamorph. Huh. What can we do about that? Metamorph it is. Draw 7. Yeah, knock yourself out. So Gristlebrand versus Gristlebrand. What can we do here? Snap. That's amazing. Really, really strong. Yeah, that works. It's so strong. Cobra. Mm-hmm. Let's check again here. There's a Bowmaster. Bowmaster is a good way to kill Gristlebrand. Tidebinder. Thing is, then it's still a big life linker, right? Let's see. If I go Vampiric Tutor, the problem is... The problem with Vampiric Tutor is it costs me life, so that means I just die from the lethal damage, and then I would have to play Bowmaster at a, like, bad time, so to speak. This game might prove too hard. If I tutor, the opponent's just gonna attack. They're not gonna like play into anything. So I can image, which might be my best call. Okay, so maybe I just draw Monolith. I can go... Yeah, maybe I just go, like, image the Gristlebrand, looking to trade. Then play Monolith. Hope my opponent has absolutely nothing in hand. I think I played Island. Let's see. Yeah, I should have played Swamp there on the off chance that I don't just die now, so I can maybe hardcast Gristlebrand. But yeah, more or less. Wow, the opponent goes to 2 here. So funnily enough, no. Funnily enough, I was about to say Bowmasters would have killed my opponent, but I don't think so. Because then, like, there's no incentive to, you know, use the Gristlebrand, right? Then you just attack, get some life. And I would have been at 9, so that means I vamp on upkeep. I don't develop anything. My opponent just attacks me dead with Gristlebrand and Cobra. The opponent's just looking for anything that can target my Gristlebrand, because that'll kill it. Like, anything. Wow. That's amazing. The opponent found nothing to target my Gristlebrand with. And I might lose because I didn't develop a swamp or an underground sea. That's quite brutal. That's a really bad play for me, unfortunately. Nissa Who Shakes the World, great card. Cobra. So maybe I'm supposed to vamp. Okay, crop rotation is pretty nice. Forest. Okay, the opponent's doing some good stuff here. So what I can do is I can vamp tutor for Charter Course. Vamp tutor, Charter Course, Necromancy the Gristlebrand. Which might do something, let's see. 5 mana. Courser. No problem. Okay, that's a problem because the opponent can Ulamog next turn. Ooh. Magic the Gathering too hard. Feel like I have to do something with that Vampiric Tutor, but I just don't know what. Oh, the Massacre Girl. Wait a minute. Massacre Girl. Kill everything. Maybe I do that. I'll try go get a Massacre Girl. Draw. Play land. Massacre Girl, I think, kills each other creature. Yeah, I think it kills my opponent's stuff. Tough to say. My opponent's drawing Ulamog and can play it. Ulamog is pretty sick. Funny thing is, I can get my own Ulamog. I guess not if my opponent kills my only creature in play. No, I can go. Let's see. I can get. I have multiple ways to get Ulamog, actually. Oh my god, this game. I go to 13. Draw. Creature. Jesus. So what can I do here? I can go Preacher, Necromancy on my opponent's Metamorph, get an Ulamog. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. Do I have anything else that's going to be better? Image. Maybe we save that for later. Preacher. Necromancy on Metamorph. I now have an Ulamog. Has to turn into full grip, double mana. Still terribly behind here, but this could be my way into the game. In case my opponent has a million lands in hand. Let's see, maybe I do like this. Do I take the damage? Maybe I have to take the damage. I'll take the damage, go to 3. This is too much mana. I don't feel like I'm beating whatever comes here. Okay, so blue-green, Oko, Snap. For whatever reason, the Snap was actually great this game. Turn 2 Oko, I had to force early, that was tough. I did hit my my land so I could produce the Griselbrand, but the Metamorph was brutal this time around. Upheaval. 5 mana in the pool, so the opponent gets a Nissa or better into play. Yeah, I'm at 3, so that means I'm dead next turn. Don't think I can draw anything. Mm-hmm. Then untap the forest, attack with 2 forests next turn and kill me easily. Okay, what a game. I think this is game 2. Not entirely sure. Time will tell. Yeah, now my opponent even has 3 more mana here to just, you know, ensure the game. Upheaval. Massacre Girl was kind of cool. Not close to enough here because of Nissa, but it was kind of cool in the matchup, I feel like. Opponent has to discard some cards here, down to 7. Then I'm going to take my draw step, concede the game, and we hopefully move on to game 3. Ulamog is out of there. Whole yard is shuffled back in. Okay, match is tied at 1-1. That means we're going to game 3 for the trophy, just how we like it. All right, come on. Game 3 for the trophy. I will take the play. Yes, please. So I have turn 1 Dreams, some flexibility with Seeker and Vamp, and then I have a good card if we reach the mid game with Mystic Confluence. This is not perfect, but I don't like mulliganing hands like this. Hands like this will give me a chance to win the game, even though it's not like the best. Okay, so Oko incoming. Funny thing is, GT shouldn't do much, but it does, so I'm gonna take it. GT's exiled. The opponent has turn 3 Oko. And I'm not convinced I can beat that card, so I might have to have Empiric Tutor for Mana Leak, even though it's kind of terrible. But I think it has to be done here. The big boy play is going for Tidebinder. Maybe that's good. I'll try. The good thing about Tidebinder is that it leaves a 3-2 behind, and as long as that card doesn't get killed, I'm blanking the Oko. The bad thing is, if my opponent finds a removal spell at some point, the Oko's back in business. There's Oko. Tidebinder. Counter that ability, leave Oko as a blank cardboard. Stifle. No food. Blank Oko. And yeah, it's tough. Just let's see our draw before talking about the Spellseeker. Womp. That's a cool draw because I know I have Mystic Confluence from next turn forward. Oh. Maybe just go Mana Leak. Okay. I kind of hope these guys will tempo out the game for me. Let's see if that's the case. It means the next turn, I'm going to be shields down. And then from there on, I'll have some good interaction. Opponent has no. Shelldock. My opponent has, I believe, Island, Craterhoof, and Warp. Okay. So far, this is going according to plan. Massacre Girl. I'm not gonna play that card out just yet. I'm gonna keep attacking my opponent's face. That's just the plan at this point. I wonder if countering the Time Warp to draw 2 cards is good. Ooh, the opponent with the Cycle. That's desperate. Very desperate. Archon of Cruelty. Maybe that can close down the show sometimes in the future. We'll keep attacking here. Opponent's at 9. That's unfortunately not 2 hits, but 2 hits plus like Bowmasters, stuff like that is possible. Also, if my opponent draws some kind of, small creatures, opponent can block at some point, then maybe the Massacre Girl can do some good things. Let's see. 5 mana. Time Warp. I think countering that and drawing 2 cards is going to be strong. Also because I actually want to hit my land drops and get to, like, Archon. There's a Bowmasters even. Dismember is a good one. Okay. Opponent's at 5. They need something that beats Mana Leak, Bowmasters, Dismember, and Massacre Girl. They know I have the Mana Leak. Let's see if they can do anything about that. 4 mana. Metamorph. 4 mana Metamorph. So I guess if I tap my opponent out here, they can't do anything. But yeah, let's let this resolve. They get a Tidebinder. Can't really do anything with it though. My opponent's hand is Craterhoof, 2 unknowns. They know I have the Mana Leak. I'll Dismember. Holding up Bowmasters and Mana Leak. I'm going to play Bowmasters, shoot my opponent down to 4. Still holding up the Mana Leak. And that should do it. What a beating. That was, I'm super proud of that one. Because Vampiric Tutor for... Let's quickly go back into the game here. Because Vampiric Tutoring for, like, seeing the hand with the dreams, seeing the Oko, knowing it's coming turn 3, then using Vampiric Tutor as anything but a broken setup card, using it as an answer to brick the Oko while chipping away at the opponent's life total. That's very important. I not only dealt with Oko, I also made sure I could pressure my opponent in a matchup where the long game will favor my opponent. So I tried to have my cake and eat it too, and I kind of looked like a genius while doing so. I got pretty lucky when I spell seek for Mana Leak, shields down. Nothing bad happened that turn. Like, that's pretty lucky. If my opponent plays some Haymaker there, we have a totally different game, but they don't. and I get to untap with Mana Leak and Mystic Confluence. And from there, it was kind of smooth sailing. I did what I was supposed to do. Wow, that was a great league. Some super long games, convoluted decisions that I didn't exactly get right every time, but overall, I had a decent idea about where the games were going and how I could come back into those games, or how I could slam the door before the opponent came back. And yeah, I think that comes with a lot of experience in. Let's be honest, I've never used Vampiric Tutor to tutor for Tidebinder and deal with Oko before, but knowing your deck and knowing like what your cards can do, your role in the matchup, can really go a long way. I'm not going to hold you guys for any longer. This has been awesome. Thanks so much for watching. A sweet trophy on camera. Never going to complain about that. All right, that's going to do it for today. See you next time. Thanks for watching.